Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the video lecture series of wireless cellular and 4G LTE module number 1. Today we will see with the lecture number 6 how LTE based network architecture is going to help us to have the improved performance as compared with the flat IP based network architecture. Okay, so in lecture number 5 we have seen how the flat architecture is being represented with a few nodes and few subscribers. Now there is a problem with the capacity with the flat architecture. Okay, so therefore we are shifting it for the actual architecture, which is called as a core architecture. Okay, because in LTE, okay, we have the two different architecture. One is the flat, and there is nothing but the core, right? So today we'll see about the core architecture, how actually this is going to help us, where we can improve the performance of the network architecture. Okay, so when you just look at the previous topic here, okay, just look at this particular diagram where we were discussing more about the flat architecture. Okay, now today we'll see about the LTE network architecture, which is completely based on the end-to-end architecture, you can say. And the thing here which we will more focus here is about the gain and the services which has been provided by LTE as when compared to the flat architecture. Okay, uh, in this particular core architecture, okay, let me show you the first figure here. Okay, you can just look at this particular figure here. Here you can see the name of the figure here is written as evolved packet core architecture. Okay, it is not a flat architecture, it's a core architecture. And in this core architecture, again, we have different multiple block diagrams, small block diagrams, okay, which are interconnected with each other, but the whole system is dependent on IP services, that is called as IP data. Okay, please remember, we are not focusing more on the circuit switching, message switching. Okay, that we are only focusing on the IP, that is called as IP based packets, that is packet switching. Okay, so it's a core network design, okay, which has been represented by 3GPP release number 8. Okay, because if you just look at here in this particular diagram, we have started with 2G and we are ending with 3G, but release number 8. So our more focus will be more on the release number 8. Okay, so 3GPP release number 8 to support LTE is called as evolved packet core. Okay, so that is also called as EPC. Okay, then, and this particular EPC, it is designed to provide a high capacity. Now you can see that the difference. Okay, so flat architecture has less number of nodes, few number of capacity or less capacity. Now here the core architecture is high capacity and all IP. So purely IP. We don't have any type of circuit switching and message switching. It is purely IP based architecture. Either we will be using IPv4 or IPv6. Okay, and they reduce the latency. Then flat architecture, that is dramatically reduces the cost and supports some kind of real-time applications, or you can say some rich media services, which is enhanced quality of experiences. Now you can just look at the differences between the 3G and 4G. Okay, the quality what we used to achieve in the 3G, it is far, like it is complete far degraded, you can say, or the 4G quality, it is far better as compared with 3G technology, right? So therefore if you want to have a kind of a real-time applications, okay, we will try to switch for the 4G rather than 3G. Okay, and it is designed not only to support the radio access network such as LTE, but is also used for internetworking with legacy 2G re-rain and 3G U-train. Okay, we'll see this completely two words in our next future classes. Okay, network which are connected via SGSM. Okay, then functions which are being provided by these particular core architectures are nothing but access control. Okay, that completely you will be having the access over the whole operation of your complete system. Then packet routing, we know actually the meaning of routing here is nothing but how the packets are being transmitted from one node to another node with following some routing protocols, right? Because there will be a lot of routers which will be installed between the transmitter and receiver or source or destinations. Okay, and if you want to route from one point to another point, okay, we need to have the source address and the destination address, right? So that particular source and destination address will be dynamically updating in the routing table. So this particular service has been provided in the LTE, but in core architecture, not in the flat architecture. Okay, and apart from that, the transfer and the mobility management. Okay, then we have a security radio resource management, and network management. So these are the various services which are the functions which are being provided by the core network. Okay, and this particular EPIC has included the 4 elements. Okay, which are those 4 elements are serving gateway, we call it as SGW. Okay, now this SGW is meant for terminate the interface towards the 3GPP radio access network. Okay, the second is packet data network gateway, we call PGW. It controls the IP data services. Okay, then resulting the routing, allocating the IP addresses. Okay, because when you want to go for the transmission of the data, okay, now data will be in terms of the packets. Okay, so if you want to transmit the packets, then you need to have some IP addresses. Okay, which is a 32-bit address. Then enforces the policy, because there are some policies which has to be followed by the LTE, which has been assigned by the IEEE standards. Okay, so all the network either it is a wireless or it is a wired or any technology, when it comes to the telecommunication, they have to follow the policies which are developed, or you can say which are being standardized by the IEEE. Okay, and they provide access for non-3GPP. Okay, if you have a service which is non-3GPP, it means that if you do not have the service, if you don't have the protocols or of this particular 3GPP flat network, then but still it has to support. Okay, that is what I've given some examples in the previous video lecture, right? Like if you have a 4G mobile phone, okay, but if you have a 3G SIM card, but still your mobile phone support the 3G network. Okay, but the only thing is the speed is limited, or your internet speed is limited to access the proper data, or you can say that very low data rate can be possible. And the third here is the mobility management entity, we call it MME. It is a very important part of the LTE. Okay, and this will support each equipment context and intended for the authentication, because and authentication authorized users. Okay, because mobility cannot happen simply in a general manner. Okay, we need to have the authorization, and we should also have the authentication. Okay, if you just look at in detail about your phones, okay, there are some kind of a certificates which are there already installed. Okay, if you don't have that particular certificates, okay, then it is very difficult for the users to access the network. Okay, so therefore authentication and the authorization, if it is required, then this particular entity will support in LTE. And last here is the policy and charging rule functions. Okay, which is used for managing the quality of service. Okay, because the most important thing what we focus here in this particular LTE is nothing but quality of service. What type of quality we are trying to achieve if we try to make use of all these particular services. Okay, now just look at this particular diagram here. Okay, one is nothing but the GSM, or if we call it as GERAN. Okay, GSM is nothing but a global system for mobile communication. Okay, it's a radio access net. It's a GERAN. It is nothing but a GSM, radio access network. Okay, then this is one type of a service, okay, which is directly connected to SGSN. Okay, if you just look at here, okay, SAE directly connected to EE, MME and eNode. All right, so here we have 3 SGSN. So it is just an intermediator box which is connected between the services and the node B. So the second is UMTS or HSPA. Okay, UMTS or HSPA is nothing but it's a high speed packet access, and it belongs to UATRN. Okay, UATRN is nothing but U belongs to UMTS. TARN is nothing but terrestrial radio access network. You can see here. Okay, LTE, which is node BE. So these two are connected to SGN. Okay, this LTE have the, if you have this particular MME will have a control over this particular E node B. Okay, and this box, the dotted box, is nothing but it's a gateway. Okay, in gateway we have 2 type of services. One is serving gateway. Okay, and another is called as PDN gateway, packet data network gateway. Okay, so if anything, if you want to transmit, either it is in terms of a data or voice or SMS, okay, it has to go through this particular gateway only, right? So therefore at the last it will be assigned the IP addresses or IP services, and then it will transmit, right? And the another type of the service is nothing but it's a CDMA, which is connected to PSDN, public data switching network. Okay, that is public data servicing node. Okay, and it is connected to PDN gateway and other if you have any other technologies, but still it has to go through gateway only. So we can see few things are connected to servicing gateway, and these two particular are connected to PDN gateway. Okay, and we have one more, that is PCRF. So PCRF is nothing but that is policy and charging rule function. They are being directed toward the IP services. Okay, so this is how the LT architecture will go also. Okay, now what actually this SGW here is, that is nothing but a gateway, serving gateway in this particular box here is it acts as a declamation point between the RAN and the core network. Okay, RAN is nothing but it's a kind of a radio access network, okay, which is not there in the system. Okay, and the core network will be like our architecture. So radio access network, it can be a tower also. Okay, and this act as a point between these two particular networks, and it manages the plane mobility. Okay, and it serves as the mobility anchor which terminals when terminal moves across area served by different E node, because your mobile will not be stick at one point, right? It has to move from one point to another point, so that is called as a mobility. Okay, so it's or you can, that is why we call it as a mobile is nothing but it's a portable from one point to another point. So therefore this serving gateway, it will have the complete control over the mobility of our devices. Okay, either it can be in the radio access network or it can be in the core network. Okay, and this SD does downlink packet buffering. Okay, because if you want to when you go for downloading, we need to have the packet buffering. Okay, and then some kind of initiation of the network triggering service request procedures. That is what the functions here are, nothing but interception, packet routing, forwarding, transport level packet, okay, marketing into the uplink and downlink. Okay, then we have PGW, that is here packet data network gateway. So this particular act as a termination point of the EPC towards other packet network. It means again it is just a kind of a connection between these two networks, that is core network as well as the packet data network. Okay, now for example, like we have an internet. Okay, then private IP networks are also there, or some IMS network which provide end user services. Okay, means if you want to access the other services other than your core network, then this packet data network will help us to connect to between these two services or these two servers. Okay, and it serves as an anchor point for session towards the external PDN. External PDN means what? It is outside the architecture, right? If you want to connect from one architecture to another architecture, we require some kind of a gateway, right? For I will just give you an example here, right? If you want to have the international call, your call will not be directly connected. If you are in the Bijapur city and if you want to have the international call, okay, we cannot directly connect it to international call. First it has to go to the exchange, it has to go to the first base station, then telephone exchange, okay, then tandem exchange, then it will go to the routings, and then it will go to the gateway, and from gateway it will connect to international gateway, and then to the respective mobile phone. So that is called as a gateway. So I'm trying to switch from one network to another network. So during that conditions, I require some kind of networks. Okay, that is called as external network. So therefore this is required for this packet data external gateway. Okay, so for that to happen, the user has to have the IP address allocation. So this particular IP address allocation and some policies are there. Okay, some packet filtering is required and charging points are required. Okay, so looking into all these particular aspects, okay, the proper allocation of resources is been done or not by some specified defined rules. Okay, just to have a control over the data rates and the quality of services and usage. Okay, for this particular purpose, the packet data network gateway is required in LTE architecture. Okay, and the next is mobility management. Okay, how we try to have the particular function, okay, such that the terminal access to the network connection or some kind of assignment resources and mobility functions, right? Whether your mobile phone or the mobile is idle in it is idle mode location tracking, then we have paging, right? Then we have a roaming and handover. So roaming, we know, right? If you're trying to move from one area network to another area network, now it is free, but earlier we used to get charged from one state to another state, right? So it is responsible for mobility management, right? And handover, because handover is nothing but if you want to hand over the network, Okay, if you are on a call and if you're trying to switch to the other network area, then it has to be, your call has to be handed over to that particular network area. And how this is possible? By making use of this MME entity. Okay, the MME controls all the plain functions related to the subscriber and session management. Okay, then the last here is policy and the charging rule functions. Okay, what is this policy and charging rule function? It is nothing but it's a concatenation of policy decision functions, okay, and charging rule function. So both together are been clubbed together and made as a one function, one ruling function, that is called as PCRF function. Okay, so this particular PCRF, it is responsible for interfaces with the PDN gateway and support service data flow detection and policy enforcement and flow based charging. Okay, and but it is actually defined by release number 7 of 3GPP ahead of LTE. Okay, but not, it is much not deployed with the pre-LTE systems. Okay, it is before, it's not applied with the pre-LTE system, but made as mandatory for LTE. Okay, release number 8 further it has been enhanced with PCRF functionality to support non-3GPP also. For example, Wi-Fi and some fixed line to the network. So this is how it has been represented, how actually the evolved packet architecture is handling all the different types of function. But we whatever the function which I have listed in this particular diagram, okay, all the functions will are not included in this particular flat type of architecture. Okay, this is a very simple architecture with few nodes and few subscriber and few four entities in each releases. Okay, but to make it more benefit, our actual architecture is nothing but it's a core architecture. So whenever it is asked, so please specify all the details related to this particular diagram and try to explain this particular 4 important type of the functions which are been shown here. Okay, servicing gateway, packet data, MME, and this particular PCRF function, ruling functions. Okay, so with this I will just conclude with this topic of this LTE flat network architecture. So I will be continuing with the next cellular architecture in my next video lecture. Okay, so thank you.